Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina. I'm an intuitive reader. I do lots of intuitive readings for people, one card readings, and I'm also doing a weekly Earth Magic card study. So I'm pulling a card every week for the collective, just to see what we all need to know and what we all are going through and just kind of see where we're all at. So I will shuffle and see what the collective has to say today. I'm shuffling them in a really weird way. I never shuffled them like this. Trying a new way, but I'm going like this. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. So our card for this week, week 5, is here. Oh yeah, I can definitely relate to this. This is the card, iceberg, submerged. Okay, so 2 points for this. The first point that comes up, well, it wasn't the first point that comes up, but it's a stronger point that's coming through, is that point of an iceberg. You see such a small little snippet of what that iceberg really is. You see such a small fraction of what is actually going on. You see such a moment in time without knowing a whole life story. It's that point of like, an iceberg is an example of just because you see a little bit sticking out of the water doesn't mean there's not more there. It means there's way more under the surface. Something way deeper, way bigger is going on there. And so this can be applied in so many scenarios in our day-to-day living, but it's that point of like, first of all, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't define someone according to one moment in time with them. Chances are your experience of someone is your own experience, has nothing to do with the other person. But it's just that point of like, there is a whole lifetime and lifetimes of an accumulated like process that happened to get us to where we are today and why people are the way that they are, why the world is the way it is. So there's that point of like, have some understanding that this story goes back pretty far, and like not to just judge someone according to one moment in time with them, you know, like understanding like it took years for them to become who they are. Yeah, and so it's just that point of like knowing there's more to the story. Another point that comes up is like knowing that there's more to life than what we're currently accepting and allowing. There is more to being here. There is more to our expression. There is more to humanity as a family. There is more to life on earth than we are allowing ourselves to be aware of. And it is simply a matter of what we're allowing ourselves to be aware of. It's like what we choose to focus on. What you choose to focus on is what you're going to see the most of. And so if you expand your focus a little bit, if you broaden your horizons, if you open your mind to perhaps something more that's going on here, then you will be shown that there is more going on here. So it's just that point of like, an iceberg is just a small little speck of what it actually is. And it's that point too of like who we are as this personality, as this body, as this life, like Christina as this person, like that is just a small percentage of who I really am as life. And it's the same for all of us. This one life that we're living is such a small snippet of time in the grand scheme of things. So it's that point of really opening up to what is actually here and the whole story that is actually here, and realizing that we like to focus in and get caught up and entangled in the dramas of our day-to-day living, when in reality it's not all that serious and it's not all that like important in terms of what is really going on and what really matters, you know? So it's just that point of like, where's your focus? Are you getting caught up in a small storyline that is taking up way too much of your time and attention and focus, and that perhaps in letting it go, you create space to see more and to experience more and to understand more? You know, realizing there is something beyond the surface. We have to get beyond the surface of this like physical day-to-day living and the stories that are being told. We have to get deeper. Let's, you know, we got to get deeper to see the totality of this iceberg we're dealing with. You know what I mean? So that's a great point. And then the other point that came up was submerged. So the word submerged, and it's that point of like, the ebb and flow of life. The ebb and flow. Sometimes you feel real creative and you feel real inspired and you feel real action oriented and you want to go and you want to do and you want to create and you want to move in the physical and you want to go, do, and that's fine. And then sometimes you want to submerge. You want to put your head under the water. You don't want to hear anything. You don't want to see anything. You don't want to do anything. You just want to submerge yourself. And that's okay too. It's like this idea that there's only one way to be. There's only one way to exist. And we have to be this one certain way. 7 billion of us all have to be this one certain way. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, ebbs and flows, you know, it's like, majority of this planet is water. It's the ocean. And look at the ocean. It moves. Sometimes it's really rough. Sometimes it's really calm. And it's just like, life is like that. Life moves. It fluctuates. It cycles. It like ebbs and flows. It like, you know, has some rhythm to it, you know? It has some rhythm to it. So it's like, let yourself go with the flow and the ebbs and flows. Like, if you don't feel like doing much, if you feel like inverting, if you feel like being by yourself, honor yourself, trust yourself. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with what you do, because it's not about what you do, it's who you are. So make sure you're not getting caught up in the action part of who you are, the doing. What am I doing? Am I doing something to prove that I am worth something? You know, it's like, make sure you're honoring those parts of yourself that want to rest, that want to slow down, that wants to take a breath. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to do that. It's okay to take a couple days, a week off by yourself, to just be alone. And like, maybe you don't want to talk to a lot of people. Maybe you don't want to go out and about. That's okay. It's okay. You know, because give it time, you'll be back and you'll want to, you know, do more stuff. So obviously be self-honest and like know where you're compromising, know where you're, you know, maybe giving into something that you don't need to be, but like also just give yourself the space to feel what it needs to feel. You know, if you don't feel like doing anything, don't do anything. If you, you know, feel like just sitting around, sit around. Like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is the programming we have to break, to think that we constantly have to be doing something, or we're going to miss out on something, or we're going to lose something, or we're not going to get something. You know, that's the old paradigm we're trying to break here and reestablish some new roots that says, I got all the time in the world. There's no rush. I don't have to rush to do anything, to go anywhere. I can honor myself. I can listen to myself. I can take a step back. You know, it's that point of like being willing to submerge inside yourself and not think and believe you have to go do, create, move constantly, because that is, you know, how we existed to sustain this external system, you know, that we're all dying to get rid of and change. Well, you have to be the change. You have to be the one to step back from it and stop trying to constantly fuel it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to apply and live yourself in a way where, if I lived in a world that I really wanted to see that was actually best for all, who would I be? I would not be rushing. I would be slowing way down, and I would be giving myself the space to feel what I need to feel, to go through my ups and downs, to like, you know, do what I need to do. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. Trust yourself, honor yourself, listen to yourself, give yourself what you need without the idea that there's anything you're supposed to be doing. There is no right or wrong. There is what's in your heart. What do you feel would be best for you? What sounds good to you? Let that be your guide in every moment. What do I want to do right now? Do I want to do anything? What do I feel like doing? What do I feel like creating? Maybe you just want to create a comfortable space where you snuggle up with a book on the couch and a blanket, and that's it, and that's great. Maybe you want to create something more like active, you know, like just, it's that point of just trusting yourself. But submerging, like being okay to submerge in you without needing to show anything, you know? It's like, you don't have to show up for anyone but yourself. So show up for yourself in the ways that you need it the most. So great, cool reading. Let's read the book. Okay, so the book here says, up to 90% of an iceberg's body is below the surface, deeply submerged in the bosom of Grandmother Ocean. Yet Grandmother allows considerable freedom for her enormous children, permitting them to move about as dictated by the currents and their own momentum. Having broken off from a glacier or ice shelf, they float along the sea, much to the detriment of vessels that attempt to traverse their passageways. Most of us have heard stories of ill-fated ships that have had tragic encounters with these ice mountains. I've only heard of one. Although the topmost portion of an iceberg can easily be seen, there's still a massive amount of its body below the water that may be difficult to detect. And that which remains unseen can fool us, and perhaps even be dangerous and damaging. Whatever you suppress or deny and attempt to keep out of conscious awareness will show up somewhere and somehow. These are your shadow aspects. At one time, you put them out of your consciousness for good reason, yet they remain contained by shame and guilt. Sometimes these submerged aspects of yourself are projected onto others so that they mirror those denied or suppressed parts of you, and you may even harshly judge these characteristics when they are exhibited. Now is the time to allow these elements to surface and embrace them. These may make up some sort of self-expression, a secret dream you wish to accomplish, or even uglier aspects that are difficult to acknowledge or accept. Whatever you have submerged deep inside of you, this is your opportunity to pay attention to those things and welcome them to the family called you. So a little bit different, but that's a great point. I like that point of like, if we're not able to see ourselves from the inside out and really face who we are on the inside, because we keep all of ourselves inside of ourselves. And if we haven't gone through that stuff and cleared out the space so that the body is this cleared sacred temple that is a safe space for us, if we're harboring things in our body inside of ourselves, it's going to come out in one way or another. We are either going to do it directly or it's going to come out indirectly, and just like randomly show up in our lives, and we're like, where did this come from? I didn't know this was coming. So that's why writing is such a cool tool, to just like really get out what is it that you experience in relation to people, what is it that you experience in your day-to-day living, what is it that you experience overall as who you are in your general like waking life, because there's a lot there to see. Is like, am I really aligned to who I really am, or am I still harboring resentments, am I still harboring judgments, am I still harboring self like hate, am I still harboring like these things about myself that are making my life difficult and my relationships difficult, and I'm not able to easily move and play in my life, you know, because that's the goal ultimately, is to have this ease and flow moving through your life where you're free to engage with anybody and be able to appreciate everybody and be able to be in joy in every moment, you know. That's the goal here. And so if there's something standing in the way of you being able to do that, then you have to clean that up, you have to face that, you have to understand what is this, what's going on here. So yeah, so that's a cool point. Another aspect of the submerge that they gave, of like being willing to look what is under the surface, what is under my, you know, in my body, what is it that am I suppressing anything, am I stuffing anything down, and if so, what is it, and can I bring it to the light, can I bring it out, can I face it, can I forgive it, can I love it, what does it need from me? And so I guess it's also that point of like honoring yourself. If you need time alone to process something, like take it. If you need to talk to someone because there's something that's bothering you and you haven't been able to speak or communicate, then do that. Like, it's that point of like knowing yourself, what you need, and giving that stuff to yourself. So yeah, okay, I think that's it for me. That's awesome. Enjoy. Take care of yourselves, listen to yourselves, give yourselves everything you need. You are the only one. You're in charge of your life. Your life matters, and how you feel matters, and you are the only one that can really truly give you what it is you want. So make sure you're doing that, and I'll see you next week for our next Earth Magic.